My name is Leo Skenyon. I'm Chief of Staff for the Speaker of the House, Nicholas Mattiello. As you are aware, you have been appointed to serve on a commission at the behest of the Rhode Island General Assembly. I would like to begin by confirming that you are all here of your own free will. Yes. Absolutely. All in agreement? Great. As long as you're all in agreement, that's terrific. To serve on this commission, the commission has been ordered to carry out the purpose of House Bill 2017 H6051, which is to study and make recommendations pertaining to the Energy Facility Siting Act. The first order of business will be to nominate a chairman of this panel. Such, I will enter into motions nominations for the chairman of this commission. Do I hear a nominee? Representative Handy?
Thank you. I'd like to nominate Representative Kilkeeble.
Okay. Any seconds? Seconded. Do I hear any nominations? Hearing none, close. All in favor of Chairman Keeble being the chairman of this commission, say aye.
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 Congratulations, Chairman. I will now ask for nomination of the vice chairman of the committee.
I move.
Price?
I'd like to nominate Representative Handy to be the vice chair.
Any seconds for that?
Second.
Thank you. Any other nominations? Hearing none, I close the nomination. All in favor of vice chairman to be Representative Handy, say aye.
Aye.
Chairman, it's all yours.
Thank you, Leo. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all very much for coming and participating in this very important commission to take a look at the Energy Facility Siting Board as it is currently comprised in Rhode Island. As I think everybody at this table knows, there is currently an application in front of the Siting Board to build a natural gas oil power plant in Burrillville, which is my hometown and the town, one of the two towns that I represent. And that has generated a lot of questions about whether Rhode Island currently has the best possible siting board configuration. And so that's our primary purpose, to look at this. If you look at the legislation, it says the purpose of said commission shall be to make a comprehensive review of the Energy Facility Siting Act and provide recommendations for improving and updating the Act, including but not limiting to reviewing similar enactments in Massachusetts and Connecticut for best practices, and gathering input from relevant stakeholders in order to ensure the best public policy and outcome for coordinating, planning, and expediting decisions. And so that'll be our goal. The legislation does have a January 31st reporting date, which we were a little slow in getting started with the commission, but I'm still hopeful that we can meet that. If we can't for some reason, we can always extend it into February. Sometimes that happens. With that having been said, I'd like to talk a little bit about a few meetings that myself and Burrillville Town Council President John Pacheco talked a few minutes beforehand, and Representative Price, and some meetings we would like to see happen, and maybe other people have ideas that they would like to see happen with this. So a few of the things we'd like to see happen is we'd like to see the town of Burrillville's legal counsel, Mike McElroy, come in. Mr. McElroy had last year assisted me in drafting. Really, he was the primary author, and I introduced the legislation that would have changed the siting board. That bill was ultimately heard in front of the House Finance Committee, and I believe is what ultimately became this study commission. And Mr. Pacheco, Council President Pacheco, has told me he would work on seeing if that could happen. I think we're both pretty optimistic that it can. Another thing that I would like to see happen is House Legal Counsel explain to this committee, compare and contrast some other states' siting boards, how they do it, particularly Mass and Connecticut, which is what our mandate requires, but if there are any other states that do things that we might consider. I think there should be one or two public hearings so that members of the public can come and tell us how they feel about the siting board, good, bad, things they'd like to see changed, things they'd like to see stay the same. Perhaps, and I have not had an opportunity to talk to these stakeholders, but perhaps the Public Utilities Commission, DEM, and I'm sorry, the third group is not housing, planning. Sorry, planning could come and tell us what they'd like to see changed, if anything, or what they think is important to keep the same. And finally, I'd like to hear from the committee members themselves as to what they'd like to see stay the same in the siting board or changed in the siting board. So if we did that, I think the Town of Burrillville McElroy presentation and the legal counsel could be on the same night. That would have us at 1, 3, 4, about 4 or 5 meetings. Other members are free to suggest other possibilities too. And the other thing I'd like to do tonight is if we could just go around the table, for lack of a better term, and everybody just briefly introduce themselves. Perhaps we could start with Amy Moses on my left and come down and around and back to me. Also, if you haven't been in this room before, to use your microphone, the button has to be up, not down.
Chairman Keeble, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amy Moses. I'm the Vice President and Rhode Island Director of the Conservation Law Foundation.
My name is Doug Jablonski. I am Executive Director of the Energy Council, otherwise known as TECRI, not tech as we know it today of TECH, but TEC. It is a member organization made up of large energy users in the state of Rhode Island.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Michael Sabitoni. I'm President of the Rhode Island Building and Construction Trades Council, a coalition of 16 trade unions that represent close to 9,500 tradesmen and women in and around the state of Rhode Island. I am also the business manager, secretary-treasurer of the Rhode Island Laborers District Council, which represents over 10,000 members, both public and private, in 7 local unions that make up the Laborers District Council.
Good evening. My name is Todd Bianco. I am policy staff at the Public Utilities Commission. I also serve as the coordinator of the Energy Facility Siting Board.
My name is Brian Daniels. I'm the Executive Director of the Rhode Island League of Cities and Towns, which is a membership organization representing all 39 cities and towns in the state of Rhode Island.
Good evening. My name is Terry Gray. I'm the Associate Director for Environmental Protection for the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management, and my programs deal with all the permitting, enforcement, and compliance issues in the state.
Good evening, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, for putting this together. My name is Paul Rosselli. I'm with the Burrillville Land Trust. We're an all-volunteer land trust in the town of Burrillville. We're a nonprofit private land trust. We own about 214 acres in the town of Burrillville.
Good evening. I'm John Pacheco. I'm president of the Burrillville Town Council.
Good evening. My name is Jason Olkowski. I'm here as a private citizen tonight and a member of the public. In my day job, I'm a vice president for a software company, SAP.
Dave Shenever, former owner of Swiss Line Precision, an advanced manufacturer for the last 31 years, and I am currently now the executive director for Rhode Island Manufacturers Association.
I'm Representative Justin Price from District 39, which is Exeter, Richmond, and a portion of Hopkinton.
I'm Arthur Handy, state rep from Cranston. I'm also the chair of the House Environment and Natural Resources Committee.
Okay, so I think as you can see, we have quite a few of the stakeholders here at the table. A good cross-section of ideas and thoughts on where the state should be on this issue. I thank each and every one of you for volunteering your time for this. I know everybody here is very busy. I hope we can strike the right balance between having the right number of hearings and listening to everybody that we should, and not overburdening all the members with too many hearings. As I said, our report is due on the 31st of January, so it should be a short time frame. We were looking at, just so the committee members know, the possibility of Wednesday, December 6th, and Monday, December 18th as 2 of the next meetings. One of them, I think, would probably be a public hearing for public comment, and there'll all be public hearings, obviously. One would be for public comment, and the other might be the McElroy Legal Counsel Committee, and Mr. Pacheco and I will work on which of those might work. There's one other person I'd like to introduce, and that's Mike Hogan, who's in our policy office, House Policy Office. He'll be acting as the clerk of the committee. Thank you very much, Mr. Hogan. Mike will be in touch with the committee members to check on dates, what times work best for people, what dates work best for people. Obviously, as we get into December and the holidays, people have very busy schedules. It may be the case that not everybody can attend every meeting, obviously, but we will do the best we can to schedule around everybody's busy holiday season. And with that, I think that's what we have on our agenda today, so I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned to our next meeting. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.